On Christmas Eve, my husband told me he was leaving me and my daughter for my best friend. I thought I'd lost everything. But what he didn't know was that I had a gift waiting for him too. My name is Chloe. I'm 34 years old. I've been married to my husband Daniel for 9 years, and together we have a 7-year-old daughter named Lily. And on Christmas Eve, in a house filled with twinkling lights, warm cocoa, and my little girl still playing with wrapping paper on the floor, Daniel looked me dead in the eye and told me he was leaving me. Not just leaving me for Sophia, my best friend. The words didn't make sense at first. They fell out of his mouth so casually, like he was telling me he'd forgotten to buy batteries for Lily's toy kitchen. "Chloe," he said, setting down his glass of wine. "I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving you for Sophia." The world tilted. My stomach dropped so violently I thought I might throw up. For a moment, I thought I misheard him. Sophia? My Sophia? The woman who was my maid of honor at our wedding. The woman who babysat Lily so I could finish night classes. The woman I called when Daniel and I fought, who always poured me a glass of wine and said, "You deserve better, Chloe." That's Sophia. My mouth went dry. What did you just say?" Daniel didn't flinch. He crossed his arms and leaned back in the armchair, like he had rehearsed this speech in the mirror. "I'm leaving you. I'm in love with Sophia. It's been going on for a while now, and I can't keep pretending." I swear I felt my body go numb. My knees buckled slightly, and I had to grab the edge of the mantel to steady myself. On the couch, Lily looked up from the dollhouse Santa had brought her. Her little forehead wrinkled, and she clutched her teddy tighter. She didn't understand the words, but she felt the tension. And Daniel, her father, didn't even look at her. I stared at him, tears blurring my vision. "Daniel, she's my best friend. She's been in this house, around our daughter. My voice cracked. "How could ye?" His expression stayed cold, almost annoyed, like I was the one inconveniencing him. "This isn't about you and Sophia. This is about me. I haven't been happy in years. She makes me happy. And frankly, Chloe, you'll get over this. It's better to rip the Band-Aid off now." Rip the Band-Aid off? On Christmas Eve? In front of our daughter? I felt my heart fracture in real time. You're telling me this tonight? In our home? With Lily right there? My voice was shaking, but I wasn't going to let him see me crumble completely. Daniel sighed, as if I was a child throwing a tantrum. "Look, don't make this harder than it needs to be. I'll take care of everything. The house, the cars, the money. You and Lily won't have to worry about a thing. I'm not a monster. Not a monster." I laughed, a sharp, broken sound that made Lily flinch. "Not a monster? You're abandoning your wife and daughter for her mother's godmother, Daniel. For the woman who has sat at this very table, eating Thanksgiving with us, who tucked Lily into bed when I had the flu. And you have the audacity to sit there and say you're not a monster?" He clenched his jaw. "Don't be dramatic. Sophia and I love each other. This is real." I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the wine bottle at his smug face. But instead, I felt the tears spill down my cheeks, hot and uncontrollable. Flashbacks hit me like knives. Sophia's sudden distance the last few months, her canceled coffee dates, the way Daniel's phone always buzzed late at night, and he'd tilt the screen away. The unexplained business trip. I had ignored them. I had trusted him, trusted her. And here I was, Christmas Eve, betrayed in my own living room. I whispered, "Does she know what you're giving up? A family? Your daughter?" For the first time, Daniel's eyes flickered to Lily. She was curled up now, silent, hugging her bear like it could shield her from what was happening. "She'll be fine," he said, dismissively. "She's young. Kids adapt." That broke me more than anything else. The sheer callousness. The way he could look at the little girl, who adored him, and act like she was just collateral damage. I wiped my face with shaking hands and forced myself to stand tall. "You think you're walking out of here, Daniel. You think you're starting some fairy tale life with Sophia, but you have no idea what you're about to lose." His brow furrowed. "What are you talking about?" I took a deep breath. My voice steadied, even though my hands still trembled. "You'll see." Because in that moment, through the fog of grief and rage, I remembered something. The prenup. The prenup he had signed 9 years ago, back when he was cocky, arrogant, and certain we'd never need it. The prenup that made sure if he ever betrayed me, everything, the house, the money, the cars, stayed with me. Daniel had just handed me the perfect Christmas gift, the chance to destroy him with his own arrogance. And I swear to God, I was going to take it. Christmas morning didn't feel like Christmas anymore. The tree lights still blinked. The ornaments still glimmered, but it all looked like a cruel joke. A staged set for a life I no longer had. Daniel was in the kitchen making coffee, acting like he hadn't just shattered our family the night before. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the mugs across the room, but Lily was awake. She came padding into the kitchen in her little reindeer pajamas, clutching her new doll to her chest. "Daddy, are you going to help me build the dollhouse?" she asked. Daniel didn't even look at me. He just smiled at her and said, "Of course, sweetheart. Daddy will always be here for you." I felt my stomach twist. Always here. He was literally leaving us for my best friend. I stepped outside onto the porch just to breathe. The winter air bit into my skin, but at least it was real. I stood there, shivering, when I heard the door open behind me. It was Daniel. His voice was calm, almost condescending. "Chloe, we can do this like adults. No drama. It's better this way. You'll see." I turned to him. "Better for who?" "For you and Sophia." He had the audacity to roll his eyes. "Come on, don't make this harder than it has to be. You and Lily will be fine. I'll take care of everything. The house, the bills. You won't have to worry." I wanted to laugh, or spit in his face. He thought money made up for ripping apart our family. But then his tone shifted, colder. "And Chloe, don't poison Lily against me. She doesn't need to hear how much you hate me. Kids are resilient. She'll adapt. This isn't the end of the world." That's when I realized something. Daniel wasn't just leaving me. He was rewriting the story, painting me as the bitter, dramatic wife, while he got to play the calm, reasonable father. And Sophia, she'd slip into my role like it was hers all along. My hands were trembling as I went back inside. Lily was sitting on the floor with her dollhouse pieces scattered around her, waiting. Her little eyes looked up at me, so full of trust. "Mommy," she whispered, "why are you crying? Is Daddy mad at you?" That broke me in ways Daniel never could. I hugged her so tight she squealed. "No, baby. Daddy's not mad. Daddy's just confused." Later that night, after Lily was asleep, I went digging through the storage boxes in the basement, looking for, I don't even know, some proof this nightmare wasn't real. That's when I found it. A leather folder, dusty, shoved behind old Christmas decorations. I opened it, and my breath caught. The prenup, signed, sealed, ironclad. Daniel had been so arrogant when we got married, thinking he'd always be the successful one, the provider, the man in control. He'd insisted on the prenup to protect himself. But as I flipped through the pages, I realized something he clearly had. This document didn't protect him anymore. It protected me. And in that moment, for the first time since Christmas Eve, I didn't feel powerless. I felt dangerous. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at the kitchen table, with that prenup spread open in front of me like it was a treasure map. My hands shook every time I turned a page. Daniel had signed this contract over a decade ago, back when he was still trying to impress me with his charm and responsibility. He thought he was being clever. The terms were brutal for him. If he initiated a divorce because of adultery, he forfeited almost everything. The house, the investments, even part of his retirement savings. The man who had smirked at me hours earlier, assuring me he would take care of everything, had no idea that he just walked into his own trap. I could almost hear his arrogant voice back then. "Chloe, don't worry. This is just to protect me. You'll never need it. I'll always provide for you." Well, Daniel, guess what? Times had changed. As the clock ticked past 3 a.m., I started planning, not emotionally, strategically. I wasn't going to scream or beg or cry anymore. No, I was going to let him build his fantasy life with Sophia while I quietly pulled the rug out from under him. In the morning, I tucked the prenup into my purse and carried on like nothing happened. I smiled at Lily while I made pancakes. I asked Daniel if he wanted more coffee. My voice didn't even shake, and he fell for it. He sat there at the kitchen counter, texting Sophia, grinning at his phone like a teenage boy. He even had the nerve to say, "Sophia might come by later. We should all talk. It'll be healthier for Lily if we do this together." I nearly choked on my orange juice. He wanted me to sit in the same room as my best friend and talk about how she was replacing me. Fine, let her come, because by then I wasn't just a wife betrayed. I was a woman armed with the one thing Daniel had underestimated: leverage. That night, I tucked Lily into bed, kissed her forehead, and whispered, "Don't worry, baby. Mommy's got this." I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror afterward. My eyes were red, my face was pale, but underneath all that grief was a fire. Daniel thought he was in control, Sophia thought she had won, but they had no idea that sitting quietly in my purse was a contract that would burn their little fairy tale to the ground. And when Sophia walked into my house the next day, smiling like a cat that had just stolen the cream, I was ready. The next afternoon, I heard the knock at the door. When I opened it, there she was. Sophia, my best friend, or at least, she used to be. She was dressed like she was walking into a brunch date. Hair perfectly styled, coat cinched at the waist, that smug little smile on her lips. Like she hadn't just stabbed me in the back and was here to collect the prize. "Chloe," she said sweetly, like nothing had changed. "I thought it would be good if we all sat down. For Lily's sake." My chest tightened, but I stepped aside. "Of course. Come in." Daniel was already at the table, pouring wine like it was some kind of celebration. I wanted to vomit, but instead, I sat down, calm, quiet, watching. Sophia slid into the chair next to Daniel, her hand brushing his like they'd been doing this for years. He didn't even flinch. My husband, my daughter's father. "Chloe," Daniel began, his voice sickeningly smooth. "We know this is hard, but this doesn't have to get ugly." "Sophia and I cut him off." "You and Sophia, what?" Sophia leaned forward, her voice dripping with pity. "We love each other. It just happened, and we didn't want to hide it from you anymore. It's better to be honest." Honest. That word hit me like a slap. Honest would have been not sneaking around behind my back. Honest would have been telling me before you played with my daughter's Christmas morning. I let the silence stretch until Sophia shifted uncomfortably. Daniel reached for my hand, like he still had that right. "Chloe, listen, you'll be taken care of. The house, the cars, the savings, I'll make sure you and Lily don't want for anything." I smiled, slowly, carefully, and then without a word, I reached into my purse and pulled out the folder. "The prenup." Daniel froze. Sophia frowned. "What's that?" she asked. "Oh," I said, my voice calm and steady. "Just a little Christmas present Daniel forgot about." I laid it flat on the table, flipped to the marked page, and pushed it toward him. "Remember this, Daniel. The contract you insisted on before we got married?" His face went pale. Sophia leaned over, eyes scanning the text. Her smug smile vanished. What does this mean?" I answered for him. "It means," I said slowly, savoring every word, "that if Daniel cheats and then files for divorce, he loses everything. The house, the investments, even part of his retirement. And since you two were oh so honest just now," I tapped the page. "Well, that makes things very simple, doesn't it?" Daniel's jaw clenched. "Chloe, let's not do this in front of Sophia." But I wasn't looking at him anymore. I was looking at her, at the woman who used to be my best friend. "You thought you were walking into a fairy tale, didn't you? A ready-made family, a nice house, financial security. But let me be very clear. Sophia, if you stay with him, you're not signing up for stability. You're signing up for a broke cheater who can't even keep his own promises." The color drained from her face. Daniel reached for the prenup, but I snapped it shut before he could touch it. "No, Daniel. You don't get to control the narrative anymore. You wanted to leave me. Fine, but you don't get to leave with everything. Not when you broke the rules you set yourself." For the first time since Christmas Eve, I saw something I hadn't seen in Daniel's eyes before. Fear. And that That was better than any Christmas gift I could have unwrapped. Daniel's hand slammed down on the table, rattling the wine glasses. His calm, smug mask was gone. Now he was red-faced, desperate. You think a piece of paper is going to stop me, Chloe? You think you're clever? I'll fight you. I'll drag you through court. And if you even think about turning Lily against me, I'll make sure you regret it. Lily. He dared to say her name like she was a pawn in his little game. I leaned forward, my voice low but steady. No, Daniel. I don't need to turn Lily against you. You did that the moment you chose to walk out on us. On her. On me. And you didn't just betray your wife, Daniel. You betrayed your daughter. His jaw clenched. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Sophia shift in her chair. My best friend. The woman who swore she'd never betray me. The woman who babysat Lily. Who toasted me at my wedding. Who once promised we'd grow old as each other's family. Now, she sat shrinking under the weight of her own choices. Her voice cracked when she finally spoke. Daniel, is it true? If you divorce her because of me, you lose everything. His head whipped toward her. Don't start, Sophia. You don't understand how this works. But she did. Her eyes darted to the prenup on the table. To the icy calm in my expression. To the smug arrogance that had evaporated from Daniel's face. And I saw it. The fear. The realization she hadn't stolen a husband. She'd chained herself to a sinking ship. Her chair screeched against the floor as she stood. I'm not ruining my life for this. Daniel, you told me this would be simple, that we'd be happy. I didn't sign up for this mess. Sit down, Daniel barked, but his voice cracked. She didn't. She grabbed her purse, eyes darting away from me, and practically bolted to the door. A gust of cold air swept through the room as it slammed shut behind her. The silence that followed was deafening. Daniel just stood there, breathing hard, staring at the door like if he glared hard enough, she'd come back. But she didn't. She wasn't coming back. I leaned back in my chair, slow, deliberate, and slid the prenup back into its folder. Well, I said softly, there goes your mistress. There goes your best excuse. There goes everything. He turned on me then, eyes blazing. For a split second, I thought he might actually lunge across the table, but he didn't. He couldn't, because for the first time since Christmas Eve, he wasn't in control. I was, and he knew it. You'll regret this, Chloe, he spat. No, I whispered, standing tall. I'll recover from this. You're the one who's ruined. And with that, he stormed out, slamming the door so hard the ornaments rattled on the Christmas tree. That night, after I tucked Lily into bed, I sat alone in the glow of the fireplace. The silence in the house was different now. Not heavy, not suffocating. Peaceful. Mine. I thought of Sophia, my so-called best friend, who thought she'd won. And Daniel, the man who thought he could juggle a wife, a mistress, and a clean conscience. Now, they both had nothing. And I still had everything that mattered. I glanced toward Lily's room, where I could hear her soft breathing, my daughter, my strength, my reason. And for the first time in years, I smiled. Because the truth was, Daniel leaving me for Sophia wasn't the tragedy I thought it was. It was freedom. In the end, Daniel didn't just lose his wife. He lost his daughter's trust, his stability, even the woman he betrayed me for. And me, I got the only gift that mattered. A fresh start. The best Christmas gift I never asked for. Thank you for listening to my story.